Okay guys, so I've gone around the threads and they're all nice and clean, so they're all unscrewed. I have my thread lock ready, and what we're going to do is going to put thread lock on all the screws, screw them in and just pinch them up. We're not going to screw them tight first of all. I'll show you why in a minute. So, bit of thread lock here. You don't need a lot, just a little bit, just to go around the screw. There's the first one, and we're gonna screw that one in. That's it. Next one. Don't actually know how long this takes to dry, but hopefully it'll give me time to do all of them before it starts going off. There's that one. Just gonna remember, we're not doing these up tight, we're just settling them in a little bit. Now again, if you decide to take on stuff, your own maintenance, and you're really not sure, please stop and get some advice. There's nothing wrong with getting advice and asking questions, whether you go online, on YouTube, or like myself, I've got a very good friend who is also a car and bike mechanic, and I try not to bother him too much because he probably gets loads of people asking him loads of questions, but he's really helpful, really kind guy, and whenever I'm stuck, he's come round and he's offered me advice, he's shown me how to do things, and he's one of those people that he will show you how to do things and not necessarily do it for you, which I love because it teaches me how to do things. And again, like I said, I have got a good base mechanical knowledge. I was a heavy goods mechanic apprentice for about 16 months when I left school, and I kept up my mechanical skills for quite a while, servicing my own cars and bikes. So I do have a limited knowledge, shall we say. I'm not fantastic, obviously, and probably a lot of mechanics who look at the way I do things probably cringe. But as I say, with brakes, well, with most things on a motorbike, you can't afford to take the chance, but especially with brakes, if at all you're in doubt and you've done something, don't go out and ride it and see if it works. Please get some advice. I do, and even though I believe I know what I'm doing with this, because I've done this before many times on many different bikes, I still check the manual I've got. I check the internet to see if there's any little bits I'm unaware of, or any little tricks that I should know about, or special tools you might need, because with some bikes and cars you don't have Allen screws, you have star screws or special sockets you have to use. So guys, I haven't got a torque wrench, please don't hate me, I just do things up to my judgment. So all I'm doing is going round, pinching these up a bit now, just so that they're hand tight, as you can see. So now I'm going to go in a zigzag pattern, because if I do this one, this one, this one, this one, it might buckle the disc and it might damage the disc. So always go in a crisscross pattern. So start here, pinch up, pinch up, pinch up, pinch it up. So this means that the disc is now seated squarely. It's nice and flat, there's no ripples or warps. Then we'll start again, just pinch it up. A little bit tighter. Looks nice, that disc, quite excited. So what I'm waiting for now is my refund on the shock absorber. So again, can't feel anything. I'm not going to know if it's warped till I start riding, but the chances are it's not. I've done it in a nice order. Going to do it again, pinch it up. You don't want to over tighten anything, no need. It's got thread lock on it. I haven't got a torque wrench. I should buy one really, but most things are kind of hand tight. Put that in, that's it. You can see I'm not over tightening, and I'll do one more for luck. It's nice and tight. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Yeah. Yeah, excellent. Just try this one again. And every time you go round, it might move slightly because you've just done the other ones up. So now I'm just doing a little pressure test. I can feel that they feel all right, and that comes with experience. It's a job done, guys. Like I said, I've thread locked the nuts and they're in there. I'm happy with that. Give this another little spray, another little clean. Get the crud off. Now, this will have to be running. I can't just go out and blat about and you know, go slamming the brakes on. It does need to be run in properly. So that is what I'm going to do. Give it a couple of 100 miles before I start heavy braking and stuff. But with the other work I've done on that front cylinder, I'm hoping that this will be okay. And hopefully that'll do it. Nice one. So, all I'm going to do now is get the wheel back on. What's that catching on? Oh, okay. Cool. Now, happy with that. So as I say, that's heavy. Let's have a look. Yeah, so you can see the disc is on there nicely. It's well seated. There's no gaps. Looks nice. Happy. Okay, so I'm just going to do the reverse and put it back on the bike. I'm just going to clean in there with a rag. My oily one. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that in there. Might go and buy some grease actually. Just to grease up the spindle a little bit. Take away some of the friction. Just slide that in there, push it through, all the way through, give it a clean. Cool. Again, there's not much you can do in the way of cleaning these out really. Just be careful not to scratch it. That's why I'm using a blunt Allen key. Could still scratch it obviously, but that's a little bit better. Stick this one in this side. Oh, went through the rag. Push that in there like that. Again, there's probably a far better way of doing this, but this is all I can think of right now. So when I look in there, it's quite clean actually. I am going to give it a spray with a little bit of brake fluid, but not on the actual bearing, just on the inside of the spindle. Yeah, lovely. That's cool. I think I'm going to go and buy some grease. As you can hear, the birds are having a bit of a head fit. Perhaps they're impressed with my mechanical skills. Or not. Boom, 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 boom. Come on, in you go. Now, the wheel bearing feels absolutely fine. It's got no tight spots, no notches. So that's cool. And the good thing about brake fluid is it dries really quickly. There's no residue. So, happy with that. Right, now, the tricky bit. Still going to leave that rag on there. We're going to put this down like this. And we're going to get this now. Amount of crud in there. Let's feel this wheel bearing in here. So this wheel bearing also feels okay. It's not notchy. I'm not going to use brake cleaner. I'm just going to give it a wipe around. Get some of the crud out. So these are sealed bearings, so I don't really want to use any kind of WD-40 or anything, because that, if they do let some in, it will just get the grease out, but that feels good. That feels okay. Happy with that. What I am going to do is just get a screwdriver, and I'm just going to clean some of this crud out of here. Don't really want that in there. And around there, just lightly. I don't want to scratch anything, so I'm just lightly going round, getting the crud out. I've replaced these wheel bearings a couple of years ago with, what were they? Can't remember what wheel bearings I used. I think it was, oh, I don't know. Can't even tell you. But yeah, needless to say, they were replaced a couple of years ago, and they're lasting well. And that was because I hit an absolutely huge bump, and a couple of days later my wheel bearing went on the back. I can't remember how. Oh, I was coming out of a trading estate and there was a massive hole on the driveway, and I hit it. Right, that's okay. Good. So these go in a certain way, like this. I will buy some new ones, but at the moment my budget is not so great after spending all this money on brakes and discs and a new shock absorber. So finances are tight. Also just MOT'd the car, which was quite expensive. So these aren't fantastic. They'll do the job, but they're not the worst. So I'm alright putting these back in. There we go. So you can see how they go in. The trick with these, sometimes I tape them together because they're meant to be together like this. But these are quite old. I should imagine they're the originals on the bike, so they do need replacing. But that will do. And then, as you can see by the shape, this hopefully will fit in there. There, job done. Happy with that. All good. So now I'm going to go and buy some grease to put on that spindle.